Hey, we are live. Hello there, Rob. Good evening or good late afternoon. Hey, haven't seen you since last year. Quite the uneventful New Year here in Mexico. I heard some firework going off kind of all over the place here, but other than that, nothing else. Didn't turn the TV on. Didn't find out anything of the. I don't have television here anyway. I got Netflix and Amazon. And Ronney Braun, haven't seen you either since last year. How you doing? I guess we could have a topic on how was your 2022? Any memorable moments, memorable events? Anything stands out? Oh, I got the guy from upstairs coming down. Maybe he doesn't realize I have a live going. No, he's going off somewhere, off to work or what have you. Well, anyway. And okay, any memorable things that happened in 2022, or what are you looking forward to in 2023? Andy, my friend from across the pond, my brother. So the topic is any memorable things that happened in 2022, good or bad, and what's the outlook for 2023? Happy 2027. Yeah. I think a lot of people said 2022 wasn't very good at all. You heard someone say it was really 2030. Well, now that I look back, not on last year, but before, I remember people that said they were from the future. And some were from like 2030. We're getting close. So, yeah, okay, 2022. I don't know anything for me anyway that happened. Nothing good, nothing bad either. COVID was kind of over. Still people wearing masks even now. And no, I can't think of anything really that I don't know if I really like 2022 myself. I like 2023 so far. The first few hours. It's been 12 hours of 2023, so we're doing good so far. Not much is open. The corner store down here is open, but I went down to get my favorite coffee from a coffee shop there. Nothing. Nobody home. Let's see what we got here. Nobody in the world wants or can handle their job. Oh, really? Yeah, 2022 for a lot of people wasn't a very good year. I don't know why. It was pretty uneventful for me. I don't remember anything that stands out. I had a birthday in the summer. It was hot again. Usually on the prairie there, when it's a different kind of heat than here. when it's like 40 above outside, it's more than 40 above in my van, and you can't escape it. Like you can park in the shade, you can, uh, hopefully there'll be some wind. Still, it's just way too hot. Way too hot. And last winter, still beginning of 2022, already by that time it was warming up. I was in Vancouver, and January was okay. It started in November, very cold and a lot of snow, for unusual for Vancouver. But then January, February, March was already getting pretty warm. Nice. I lost 2 generations in 2020. 5 people, plus 2 family friends. But we just kept looking forward. Oh, wow. Devastating. The year before, I had lost a lot of friends, family and friends. Forgot about you on the health sector, hey? That's when it all disappeared. Yeah. Well, my sister just sent me a message a couple days ago saying Alberta, the senior citizens, for the next 6 months, they're going to give us $100 a month for 6 months. So that government's going to give us $600. Somehow they're going to want that back. I don't know how. I should put it in a separate bank account and at least collect minimal interest on it, or put it in my bank account, collect, the interest of that, and then get ready to give it back to them. It's usually when the government gives you money, they're not gonna give you money for free. I don't know what the thing was, whether it was a health. Oh, it's for senior citizens only. So. And the healthcare system in America is not even faking their trying. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know, but I don't even know too much about the Canadian healthcare system. Although I know that I can walk into a like it's called a walk-in clinic, not a hospital, like just a clinic, anywhere across Canada, and get like a free service. You have to pay for your medications, of course, but get your free service, diagnosis, whatever you're going to do there. Um, Operations, on the other hand, when you get cut open and stitched up, I'm not too sure about other provinces, but in my own province, it's totally free. It can be pretty serious things like a hip replacement, a knee. My friend got his hip and his knee replaced or fixed or what have you. So he's in the hospital, and you don't pay any money. But the U.S., with their medical system, I think each state has um, their own laws on what they do for medical. So I guess it all depends on where you live. I went to the emergency room for a dog attack, and they weren't they wouldn't examine me, but they gave me 2 pages saying they didn't know if I was vaccinated. My doctor did the same. Really? Wow. Amazing. Yeah. Holy. A dog attack. Check out for rabies or something. On the plus side, we're having 16 people for dinner, but full after one leg. Yeah, that's what I haven't been doing lately. In the last 5 years that I've been living in the van, I haven't had a good. Well, yes, I have friends that invited me over for meals, things like that, good meals, but I haven't made. I try to make the best of yourself. It's hard to cook a nice meal like that for one person. You can't do it. You have to cook a lot, and then eat that for several days. You get sick and tired of it. And as soon as we ask to be paid fairly for our work and sacrifices, we are the enemy. Yeah, when you want a raise or something, or when it comes time for payment, yeah, you're no longer part of the system, sort of. Um, that's why Alberta is going to give senior citizens $100 a month for the next 6 months. I don't even have to apply; it's just automatic. Why? I'm gonna have to. My sister just sent me this thing about it, so I'm gonna have to read up. Like, what is this about? Why are they giving me $100 a month for 6 months? And does $100 actually help? It's like nothing. I can't even, like a senior citizen can't even buy his medication for a month with that money, or something he has to rely on to live on. Like if you're a senior citizen and you need medications of some sort, well, that costs more money than you get. Yeah, I don't think it doesn't matter whether you're a politician or if you're in the business of authority somewhere, like doctors and stuff and what have you. They all lie. And like, what do you do? Like a doctor, you put your life in their hands. Here, take care of me, look after me. And they just not necessarily outright lie to you, but sometimes they just won't even help. Like it's simply amazing. And politicians are in a breed themselves. Like uh, when it comes to election time, they're all about, oh hey, we're the best thing that ever happened. Um, we'll do this and we'll do that for you. And then once they're voted in, they don't remember those things at all. They don't remember anything of their promises they've made. So yeah. And 23, I hope is going to be much better. Um, we're in a warm climate right here, right now, and then when I go back to Alberta, it's going to hopefully be warm by May the 5th. I go back, and by that time, it's going to be already nice out, and I'll have all summer. So that'll be like 3/4 of one full year that of nicer type weather, which is nice. And then back to the winter. I don't know what I'm going to do next year, wintertime. I'd like to come back to Mexico in a different part of Mexico for another 6 months. But the whole problem stems on when I go back to Alberta, if I have to actually get an apartment or rent a house, or rent, I can't afford to purchase, but if I'm renting somewhere, I can't just say, okay, I'll rent for 6 months or so till winter, and then I'm going to go to Mexico again, or Turkey, or someplace else that's nice and warm, that is cheap to live. Um, you can't just get out of your contract like that. New laws come into force today. Oh no, usually when there's new drone laws come into force, they're not good. They're not good for the drone people. Every law that they pass has not been good at all. I haven't found one that's good. I try to avoid them at all costs. And I don't know what they're doing in China, because China is where DJI is located. I suppose their main office, but do they do laws like the rest of the world, or do they just like they have to? They're starting to make their drones with remote ID built into the drone. So you can go buy a drone today and it's got remote ID built into it. Otherwise, you have to purchase a separate unit that gets attached to your drone. And these separate unit things are not cheap. And I'm just going to avoid that at all costs. I guess I have to go until I get caught. And where I'm from in Medicine Hat, there they you see the who does this? Who looks after the drone? Like the police, or they have a special drone units that. Right now, the police. I've been in contact with the police in Medicine Hat a few times about drones. Like somebody reported me or something for flying where not really supposed to, or what have you. But the police know nothing about. All they know is they have a drone in their department, and there's a special pilot that pilots the drone, but they're not up on the rules and the laws and the of drones and things. So I don't know if they're gonna have to put a special force, train a special force or something, or train the police on what the laws should be. And I don't think the police even know where you're not supposed to fly. And so there's obviously no training there. But I have a couple of followers, or one follower anyways, that he's from the US, and it's mostly the US laws I'm looking at, not necessarily the Canadian laws. And I think that the US laws are more strict than the Canadian type laws. Love my drones. Hey, how you doing? Police need to worry about real crimes, not Karens whining about someone flying a drone. Yeah, and like I said, the police came to me because somebody thought, you see, that's the point. This person that reported me obviously doesn't like drones, and he's either saw on YouTube or read somewhere or something that he can phone the police and turn people in for doing something that they're not, that he thinks they're not supposed to. Oh, you're flying where you're not supposed to. And so then the police, because they phone the police, they have to come and act on that. They have to. Yes, Happy New Year to you too. I haven't seen you since last year. And we were just talking earlier about, was there any memorable things that happened in 22 that you can remember, like bad or good? A lot of people saying 22 was not a very good year. It was kind of a shitty year. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning that way myself, but I don't know of any good or bad things that happened in 22. And hopefully 23 will be much better, in the sense that I don't know how you determine bad or good, but if it was a bad year, then something had happened somewhere. If it's a good year, well, then something must have been good for you. But like I said, in 22, since January of 22, I was in Vancouver until April. Okay, I don't even remember 22, let alone 21. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember the year 2000, when computers were worried about, what happens when the digits switch over from 1999 to 2000. There was supposed to be a big deal about that. The computers weren't set up to go from 99 to 00, just the double digits. I just remember the year 2000 about that, and that's 23 years ago already. Wow. Or when the at New Year's, 1999 to 2000. That's the first time in 1,000 years that all the digits changed. As a matter of fact, it's even better than 1,000 years ago before that, because it was 999, 999, and it went to 1,000. They added a digit. Yeah, that's pretty memorable. But in the year 2000, all 4 digits changed, which is it was pretty memorable for me. But that's 23 years ago already. I remember thinking, because the time change around the Earth is not at exactly the same time, it changes at Greenwich Mean Time area first, and then it goes on around the world. Well, the computers, would they kind of stop working partway, and then all of a sudden, when it got to be, like at Greenwich, did the computer stop working then? You would just soon forget about 21. Yes, yeah, Y2K. I remember that. Yes, Y2K. They were worried about whether that was going to have a big crash. I guess apparently some computers crashed and they were working diligently to fix that problem in other areas. And now I guess it's irrelevant. You can have it can be whatever year. It's all fixed. But yeah, Y2K. But I am hoping that 23 is going to be a good year compared to all the past years. Like I was saying, for me, 2022 is uneventful the whole year. There's nothing I can remember that was either bad or good. And so far we're at 12 hours and 23 minutes into 23, and it's been good so far. Yeah, that was the deal, from 99 and back to zeros. Like when they programmed these computers, it was probably in the 80s or 70s or 80s or whatever. And they never thought 20 years ahead of time, like what happens when it gets to be 99? What's going to happen? So, it was just seems back then it was too far in the future to think about. I just remember some businesses actually had problems, and others, they had people working on that just before the time happened. before the date change. But yeah, most databases. So anyway, in 2023, I've been thinking about going to, there's a small island. It's 4 miles or 4 kilometers. 4 it's probably kilometers because Mexico works in metric system. So there's an island, Isla Mujeres, women's island, the island of women, and I think it's 4 kilometers long. So it's a pretty small island, and it's less than a kilometer across in some places. At your age, you try ahead too far. Yeah. I went to bed after midnight last night. Of course, there was fireworks going on, not in one big area, but there was like all you could hear it down the street this way, down the street that way, and a few fireworks going off. And then I just pretty uneventful went to bed, and I'm already tired. It's only just noon here now. Yeah, that's right. There is only today. You can forget about the past. It's already gone by. The future hasn't come yet. So you can only live in the moment. Live for the moment. People must be, is there still partying going on, or there was probably a lot of lives last night on YouTube for the new bring in the new year. Now, I guess it all depends on where you lived. One friend of mine says, I'm going to be on until 12. And it was like 10 o'clock his time. It was 9 o'clock my time. And I thought, holy, okay. So you're going to be on till midnight your time. So I guess if you're living in North America, you have to go till midnight on the West Coast, British Columbia, Seattle area, I guess, California, whatever, midnight. And if you're on the East Coast, well, you're 3 in the morning. You're already in the next day. Yeah, really. Try not to think too far ahead. The farthest I can think ahead is what's for supper tonight? What am I going to make? I got some stuff here. I'm just thinking about it right now. I got some stuff I'm thinking is going to be pretty good. I can't make a nice good ham meal or a good turkey meal. I don't even have anything I could cook that with, or just anything that big. And way back when I worked at an upholstery shop in Vancouver, when I used to live there, Christmas time came around, and he would always give me the biggest turkey that he could find. Now, I'm assuming that these birds were old, They were massive, 30-pound turkeys, like, oh my goodness. But we cooked them up and they were tasty. They were still tasty. So what I have now is just chickens. And then I don't even cook the chicken myself. I get one of those ones that are already cooked. Just go pick them up. They're good to go. Yes, so 2023, let's hope it's a good one. Nothing serious happens. Hopefully no more new wars break out or what have you. That's one good thing about North America. There hasn't been a war here on the land here for, well, in Canada, I don't remember if there ever was. Maybe in World War II, there might have been a bit of that's when the Japanese came very close. But anyways, 2022, uneventful. Nothing much happening. And today, here, there is not very much. Like I said, the corner store down here is open. But all the little places where you'd get tacos all along that are just like street vendor places, they're non-existent today. I don't see any. And even the little stores, the little shops along the way that like sell food and stuff, they're all closed today too. Just right here on the corner, there's a little coffee shop. Makes good breakfasts and what have you. She's closed today. I guess they need their holidays too. Close whenever they can, otherwise they're open. There are some taco stores that are closed all day long. They just open at 6 o'clock in the evening. And then they run until, I don't know, whatever time. I'm not there that late, but they don't open until 6 in the evening. And that 6 o'clock is when it starts to get dusk. And by 6:30, by 7, it's dark. So at 6:30, it's pretty dark by 6:30 already. Doesn't take long. Once the sun goes down, that's it. So I haven't been able to take my drone up anywhere either. It's when you go down to the beach, it's always windy. I guess that because the ocean is, the wind is. I don't know how the wind, where it starts from, uplifting. If it's too hot, I don't know. I don't know how the wind starts, but once it gets going, it's always blowing from the ocean to the land. So you've always got the wind to worry about when you're flying your drone. There's pretty rarely when there is no wind. But where I am, I'm quite a ways from the beach, and right now, it's warm out, like pretty warm, but there is no wind. But I got nowhere to go fly my drone either. There's a park around the corner. I've flown there before. I just, once you fly somewhere, to me, I need someplace new. And then the big park, which is several blocks away, where they have those coati, those things, a Mexican raccoon with the long tails. That park there is, it's like, it's not there's just pathways where you can walk on, but otherwise it's jungle. I mean, it's not just a forest with trees. It's a jungle, and you can look into the jungle from the pathway, and I would say you could see 20, 30, maybe 30, not even 30 feet. And then that's it. You can't see no farther. It's that dense. So there's no possible way of flying your drone. Even if you flew your drone up above that and looked down, you wouldn't see anything. All you'd see was just trees. So there's not much to. There are places there. They have like a playground, so it's got an open area, no trees there. They have a place called Solar Maya. Um, it's got like some old broken down ruins and sheds and things made out of straw or whatever kind of straw they use. And that's an open area. The parking lot is an open area. But other than that, it's just a pathway that's, 20 feet wide at the most. And even when you look straight up from there, the trees cover over it. So in some places, from up above, you can see the pathways. But so if you're flying along those pathways, you're flying at, 5, 6 feet high, 7 feet high at the most. You're flying along the pathways. And they have a museum in there, not much in the museum. And then they have a big turtle pond, a big fenced off area with rocks and a pond inside there, way down below. There's a pond, and you can see a bunch of turtles and fish and other things in there. And then they have kind of like a lagoon in there that's all fenced off again, but you can't. It's like some of these places they smell pretty bad, like sewer kind of a smell. There's a place called the Laguna. It's down the hotel strip. It encircles this lagoon, but it's saltwater lagoon. But it's really smelly in some places. And my dentist driver guy, he was saying that this lagoon, when he was a child, was just like the ocean, the nice blue turquoise colored water, nice fish in there. I don't know where the crocs come from, but it's full of crocodiles now. And it is open to the ocean, so there's the water. Like I guess the crocs don't want to go out into the ocean area; they just stay in this big lagoon. But there's signs where you shouldn't be swimming in there, anyways. Every year, I guess some people get chewed up by these crocodiles. There's boating in there. Now, if you fell off your boat, that crocodile that I made my short video about, you see on TV how far they can jump out of the water and how fast they can really be if you are not careful. Well, I poked the crocodile in the nose with a long stick, and I happened to be on like a little bit of a wharf above it would be harder for him to get up there, but he probably could have if because people told me in the comments, they were saying, like, you're crazy. This crocodile could have jumped out at you. And after the fact, then I thought about it and I thought, oh yeah, I guess you're right. And but where I seen him he was a few hundred meters away, like a few hundred meters. I could never throw a rock that not even a quarter of that distance. And he was traveling away from me, swimming. And so there was just a coconut laying on the ground. I took this coconut and I threw it in the water, 50, 60 feet away from me, if I could throw that far. And then he turned, he was a long ways away from that, but he turned around and started coming towards that, and he came right up to that coconut that I threw in the water there. So they either feel the vibration of the water or could hear that. I don't know how they hear, but he knew I threw something in the water. So then I had found another part of a coconut there and threw it closer to me, and he came over and investigated that. And I guess he was disgusted with maybe the people around. They're right on the edge of this lagoon. They live on the edge. Maybe they feed them, so that's why they're used to getting food from the locals. But I guess he was disgusted with me, and he kind of swam off because there's no food. He swam underneath the wharf where I was standing on and was heading away from me. So I grabbed this long stick and I splashed the water a little bit. He turned around, but he didn't come over to me. And then I found a plastic red cup, and I threw that in the water on the other side of the wharf, and that got his attention. He came over and investigated what that was. And that's where I poked him in the nose with this stick. I videoed it, made a video. It was a short video about poking a crocodile in the nose with this stick, and he chomped at it. And then I poked him again, and he got disgusted, and he left. He had this huge bump on his back. It looked like somebody's head. He swallowed someone's head, like it was this huge bump. So I poked him a couple times, and he went off and sat underneath the wharf where I couldn't get him. He was probably really mad at me. But thinking of it after the fact, and after some comments that were saying, well, how would you like it if you got poked in the nose like that, and what have you? You should be careful. Those things can jump. And I thought, yeah, holy. So then I looked up, what's the difference? I kind of know the physical difference between crocodiles and alligators. Like an alligator's nose is more rounded and blunt, where a crocodile is more of a pointed kind of nose. But I didn't know this. Statistics say that in a year, alligators eat, or they catch one person in a year, because when you're where there's alligators, and you see one and you make a movement or something, they flee. They, like, I don't know how fast they can run, but they run away or jump into the water and go down and hide. Whereas a crocodile, on the other hand, if you are anywhere near, they'll come after you. Like I said, an alligator kill one person in a year, and a crocodiles kill 1,000 people in 1 year. So that's they hunt. They hunt people. So, and these here that are in this lagoon here are crocodiles. They're not alligators. So they hunt. So he wasn't probably afraid of me at all. And the water that he was in below the wharf there, what might have been not quite up to my waist high. So it was like between my knees and my waist height. And I was right on the shore. But still, I don't think I could have got out of the water fast enough. These things can really move fast. But that was my short about the croc. And yeah, I guess I won't do that again. As a matter of fact, some locals, they know there's crocodiles in there, but they've never seen one. That's weird. Never seen one. So when I videoed it, they were gathering all around, like, oh, look at the crocodile. Holy smokes. I saw one last time I was here, like 10 years ago, in this lagoon. The lagoon is all fenced off with wire fencing. You can't go in there. and there's a place where there's a cement walkway, and it's above the water line. And sometimes they go out on there, and then they're sunning themselves out on this piece of cement there. So I saw one out there, and it was a long ways away. And I zoomed in as far as I could with my camera, and he was sunning himself. I took a picture, and then when I went to the dentist's office, they all had to gather around and see this picture of the crocodile. They'd never seen one before. And I thought, what the heck? You guys live here, and you know that they're in there, but they've never seen one. So that's strange. All right, we have, there's still 5 people in the house. So the topic was supposed to be something about 2022. Any memorable things that happened, or good or bad? Was it a bad year for you? Was it a good year for you? What's your hopes and dreams for 23? Better than 22? Or I guess everybody wants better years coming up, since we don't know what's going to happen. But hopefully 23 will be a good year for everybody. So what I did was, here I've had all my crowns removed from 10 years ago is when I had to put in. These are new ones. They're not even temporaries anymore. They're all new crowns. I got something dark in there. I got something in my teeth. But my old crowns, I wanted to keep one. And my old crowns are porcelain fused to metal. Now, there was, at that time, you could get crowns that were made in 3 different ways. You could get porcelain teeth. You could get porcelain fused to metal, which that's the kind that I had put in. Or you can get zirconium teeth back then. And zirconium was like twice as much as the fused to metal. So anyways, I had fused to metal. This was my crown from the old, this was like a bridge with on this side. So there was on each side here, there was a tooth here and a tooth here. They cut into it with their tools. So this was porcelain fused to metal, and they don't just pop off. Let me tell you, they have to cut each and every one of these off. So they cut into that, got all my crowns removed, and I still had, I don't know if you've seen my latest videos, I look like vampire, pointed teeth. And then while those are off, and because they can't do it all in one day, they put temporaries in for you. And so, how can I hold this up so you can see what's going on there? This was my temporary teeth. This was my front. That's where the holes where my actual teeth fit in those holes. They take an impression and then they make the teeth. This was one of my front teeth. One of my front teeth with a couple other ones on it, and this was my other front tooth. So, like so. So anyway, these were my temporaries, and they're really smooth and very hard. When I had these in, they look pretty good. Like the temporaries were, I thought, well, gee, that's good. Why can't you just leave those like that? But anyway, now I have all new crowns. I see it. Is that just a dark? I don't have a mirror. Can I see through there, or is that a dark? I was eating chocolate cookies here earlier, so maybe that's what that is. I'm one of those people that don't look after my teeth very well. Yeah, they tell you you should do this, you should do that, you should brush at least 3 times a day. And I don't work now, but I mean, for some reason, I just couldn't find the time to brush my teeth. So now I'm kind of forcing myself. I do still only brush twice, once in the morning, once in the evening after meal. But I don't know why. I just find it, I haven't got the time to do it. So I don't, when I got my last set of crowns 10 years ago, I didn't brush at all for years. And that's when I came here, I had one crown that was loose. That's all I thought I was going to get fixed. And he looked in there and he said, we have to replace all your crowns. And I said, why? What's going on? And he said, you're going to get cavities where the crown is on. They can see with the x-ray. You couldn't see it with my sight by looking, but with the x-rays, you could see that the tooth underneath wasn't meeting up with the crown properly. So the decay there and plaque was underneath the gum line. So and your gums are inflamed or something. So we're going to have to remove them all. So they removed them all, waited for the inflammation to go down, and then the work was done. And they give you, I suppose, the top and the bottom, but this is my top guard, night guard. You wear this at nighttime. It goes over your teeth. Like so. But even with crowns, I think they're like bigger than real teeth would be. So your tongue has no room to fit in your mouth anymore. So when some letters of the alphabet, when you say them, I had problems saying the letters. It would sound funny because I couldn't form my lips and my tongue in the right way to make the sound. And after time, well, that you start to learn where your tongue goes, so you don't start chewing it. So yeah, but even now I'm having problems of figuring out where the heck my tongue fits. But the whole idea is it looks good. Looks good. Can't see, and I'm surprised that the glue that they use, which keeps your gums, it's not necessarily that they glue the crown on. It's the glue is meant to hold the gum against the tooth or whatever, because these go up underneath your gums. They don't just sit on top. Your gums have to be over top of these. So the glue, I'm amazed. Like the glue that they used to put my temporaries on, some of it didn't even last. I'd be biting something that has like a sandwich, for example. When you bite, yes, you can bite it, but when you open your mouth to take a chew, it's got like suction there, and it sometimes would just pull the temporaries off, and then you're chewing, you go crunch, and you just bit into your temporary came off, and so then my front teeth were left. I had crowns put here and here, but I had my front teeth were temporaries for a couple of days, and even while I was talking, it would fall off, and then the sounds of your letters would be really strange. But anyways, this glue they put on your crowns is amazing. How it can last that long. Like my last teeth were 10 years old, last crowns, and none of them ever came off. The only two problems I had was with my implants, they're put on. You get a screw type thing put in your bone, and then they have I'll think of what it's called, which goes in that hole, which has a screw hole in that, and the crown is put on, and it's got a little hole in the crown, and then the screw goes in the tooth and holds it. They have an actual little wrench, goes click, 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 and tightens your tooth abutment. That's what it's called, which tightens the abutment down. Well, and then they put a material over top. They don't want to put glue directly on the screw itself, because if you ever need to get some work done, well, then they have to ruin the whole thing. So they put this material on there that's kind of hard. It's not glue, it's just hard in that hole that holds the screw in there. And then on top of that, they put a material that's like your teeth, like porcelain, and it's hardened with a light. They put a blue light on it, and it hardens. So then when the next time they got to drill through that top part, get into where the screw is, and get into that harder material that has no glue, take it out. Now they can access the screw. Well, what happens was with mine is, I guess over time, that little screw worked its way up. It wouldn't come right out because it would hit the crown on the inside and wouldn't come out any farther. So it wouldn't come off, but you could wiggle your tooth. And because it's an implant, there's no nerve endings in there, so nothing hurt. Matter of fact, when they work on your implants, they don't give you no freezing at all, no numbing at all. They just cut it off and cut into it, drill it, do whatever they got to do, and you get because you don't feel anything. So one came loose. So in May last year, I came to Cancun here and got all that service done for no charge. Now that's been 10 years ago, and they said I had a lifetime warranty. Well, now they've changed their minds. They can't give you a lifetime warranty anymore. That's kind of ridiculous, giving everybody a lifetime warranty. Well, everybody would come here and get their lifetime warranty. So now they only do for 5 years. So in May, though, they did happen to cover me because I was a special patient. And they fixed my crown and what have you for no charge. So then I went back to Canada, and several months later, the crown on my I got 2 implants. The crown on my other implant was loose. I could wiggle it and things. It didn't hurt to chew on it. So then I thought, well, I'll go to Mexico, and that's the reason I came to Cancun as opposed to anywhere else in Mexico, is because those dentists are here in Cancun. And I actually thought it was a lifetime warranty thing still. But then when I got here, I found out, no, it's not. It's just a 5-year thing. And I thought, okay, I mean, it is what it is. And that's the deal. So, and I thought, okay, well, I'll get that crown fixed. And that's pretty cheap compared to Canada anyways. So then when the first day I got here, the doctor looks in there and he says, we have to have all your crowns removed, 24 of them. And I thought, oh, okay. Oh, wow. Well, that's going to cost a lot of money. And then it's 5 years from now. I get a warranty for 5 years. But how much is that going to cost me? So they put it all together in my case and looked at it and said, well, $14,000 American to fix all my whole mouth. And I thought, holy smokes, there's no possible way. I can't afford that. That's ridiculous. And I know the owners of the business because 10 years ago, I was one of their special patients, the only special patient. And I'm staying in the house that he's not an owner, but he runs one of the He's a manager of one of the clinics. And back then they had one clinic 10 years ago. Now they have 11 clinics. So we're talking like millionaire, right? You don't own 11 dentist clinics and not have any money. So we talked to the person that owns the whole 11 businesses, and he said, well, okay, we'll give you a deal. How about we get 50% off, which is still 7,000 American. And I thought, well, it is what it is. I have to have them done. I mean, in Canada, that would cost a lot of money again, $60,000 or more. So I figured, yeah, okay. So while I was getting my teeth done, I talked to the owner of the whole business again. And I said, I actually thought I had a lifetime warranty on these things. And he said, no, we can't do that anymore. I have to pay his staff. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. So he said, I'll tell you what, I looked at your case again, and I can do your whole mouth with zirconium yet. It's not even porcelain, it's zirconium, which is their most expensive type of teeth. And he said, I can do your whole mouth and whatever it takes to get it done for 5,000, but Canadian dollars, which is only 3,600 American dollars. So it went from 14,000 to 50% of that. So I'm way down to 5,000 Canadian. Like, to get one implant put in Canada costs more than $5,000. So to get my whole mouth done, and my implants weren't even affected by this, getting my whole mouth done this time, because they're implants. There is no teeth there underneath it. So they're even taking the crowns off of those and putting new crowns on, which they don't have to. It's just because the color I picked now is more white than it was before. So they're going to change those two crowns just because. So 5,000 Canadian, and well, like I said, it is what it is, and we'll go for that. So, which is only $3,600 in American to get 24 crowns. I mean, he barely can pay his staff. I was there every other day for almost since I've been here. Almost. There had some times when it was a little longer. But, they would say, we'll see you in a couple of days. Pickup time. They always shuttle you back and forth to the clinic, back home or to the clinic and back home. So they pick you up. And so while I got here, I think, okay, good. I can go and do some things. I can see the room. I can learn the culture. I can do things. But that fell through because I was always relying on the dentist stuff. Like, I'm too busy with the dentist to do anything. So now that that's over, I can actually go and do things. So hopefully I can get some videos out on. I'm going to go to Chichen Itza again when March 31st, I think, is the longest day. March, whatever day that is, that's when the pyramid at Chichen Itza, the staircase coming down Chichen Itza, the sun, the way it hits it on that one day a year, the shadow of the stairs, if you get a time lapse, it looks like a snake climbing up or down, whichever direction it's going. But it's funny how they knew how to build that pyramid to do that. Like, that pyramid itself is a calendar in itself. And the way they built it is like their special numbers were Number 7 was a special number. I think 13 was a special number for them. When you look at the segments of the pyramid, it's not pyramid like this. Yes, it's shaped like that, but it's steps. It's not like Egypt pyramids. But they had 7 steps and big steps, and then the staircase was like 13 of these or something. There was numbers built into this, and it was all to do with the sun and the moon and a full calendar. And it's funny when you learn how the Mayan, this is Mayan, not Spaniards. When the Spaniards came and took over, I didn't really realize that the Mayans had already been gone for a couple hundred years already. They weren't overtaken by the Spaniards. The Mayans were, I don't know why they had left. I have to go and figure all that out, why they had left. But the Spaniards came, and then when they went into the jungles, they see these things all overgrown with trees and jungle. And a little bit more trivia for you, like when you go to Egypt, you see the pyramids there, the largest, those 3 like supposedly everybody thinks that that's the largest pyramid in the world. That's incorrect. The largest pyramid in the world is in Mexico, believe it or not. And it's still, parts of it is even still covered by growth, jungle and things. It's not, all you can see is just like a mound. It's not even uncovered. So, and it's the biggest pyramid in the world. And the Mayans were so far advanced in their math and their science. Like, wasn't it just a while ago in the 2000s here when all the planets would line up in a straight line? All the planets, right from the sun all the way out to Pluto or something, were lined up in a straight line. And the Mayans had figured this out like hundreds of years ago, that this was going to happen. And I think they said that was supposed to be like the end of the world. When all these line up, something weird is going to happen. So, but they had left their place that they were there long before that, the year 2000. This was hundreds of years ago. I don't know about thousands of years, but quite a long time. And then the Spaniards came over and took over. And they even have plays at certain times of the year. They have where the Spanish would come and conquer the Mayans, and some Mayans that were still left here, the Aztecs and things like that. It's pretty. The culture is amazing, and that's what I like to study. I wanted to study the Spanish to speak, but especially in Cancun, a lot of people speak English a lot better than I can speak Spanish. So when you're communicating with people, so you bump into them that don't know any English at all. But most of the ones know English, so it was kind of useless for me to even learn Spanish. I'm still kind of, words here and there, but I don't know full sentences. When I hear them talking, I can hear 1 or 2 words in what they're saying, and I can't put together what they said. Even counting, like once you know certain rules of the numbers, you can count as high as you want to count. Like from 1 to 10 is easy. And then 11 is not like when you print it, like a one and a one. You don't, like uno is one, but you don't say 11. You don't say something uno, like whatever it is for 11 is another whole word, and 12 and 13 up to 19. And then 20 is different. Vente is 20. And then you'd start getting into like 20 and one. They say 20 and one. So it's 21. And T or T is the letter Y. And see, now that's another thing. The alphabet, A is A, B, C, D, all the way. But when you get to the letter Y, it's just not Y. It's like a whole word. I don't even know what that word is. But when I spell my name, Wayne, I go W, which is like V, but they say double V, which is W. So W, A. Now Y, I don't know the word for Y. And then N is N-A, and E is E. So if I knew how to at least tell them my name. But counting, because most things are money, and the till is when you buy something, sometimes they have the screen, another screen is facing towards you, and if I see the money, I know what it is. If I see the numbers, I know how much it is. But when they just say the number, the money, I don't know what they're saying, because 20 is vente, 30, I don't know what the name is for 30, 40, 50, I don't even know what 50 is, 67. Once you know what 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, hundreds are weird, like there's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 is a weird one. It changes. It's just 500, 700, and 900 are the 300 ones that are weird. They're said weirdly. But once you know those rules, you can count as high as you want to count. So, but anyways, I should learn at least the numbers. Alphabet is another weird one. Once you learn the alphabet, I think I could read Spanish, but I don't know what I'm reading, because I know how to pronounce the word, the letters, and they're always pronounced the same. Like for example, the vowels A-E-I-O-U in English, A, but it has, the letter A has like 2 or 3 sounds. You can have like A, apple, A, ape, and A. So there's 3 different sounds for the letter A. But in Spanish, the letter A is always pronounced A. So when you see a word and you see the letter A in there, it's always A. And E, the letter E, in English, again, has 2, like letter, or E with a long E. And in Spanish, the letter E is always always, no matter whatever word you see it in. When you see the letter E, it's always pronounced Sounds like EH, I guess. I is a weird one, but once you know it, it's the letter I in English has 2 sounds again, the long and the short, or the high and the low, I and I. But in Spanish, again, it's only got 1 sound. And the sound for the letter I in Spanish is E. So when you see an I in a word, it's always pronounced E. Always. O, English, again, has two long and the short of O. And in Spanish, it's always 1 sound. It's like OH, O. And the U, the same thing, is in English, it's got a couple long and the short of English. And in Spanish, it's always U. So the vowels always sound the same. There's only 1 sound for the vowels. The consonants, on the other hand, have weird, like when you see C-A-R-O, caro. That is, I'm not, that's car, like a vehicle, a car. I'm not quite too sure what C-A-R-R-O is with another R in there. I think it's like the word perfect or something, but it's pronounced carro. Then you kind of roll your R's. Um, Street is C-A-L-L-E, calle. You don't say the L's, it sounded like a Y. And yet when you have one L in there, then it's pronounced with an L. And the minute you double the L's, it's said as a Y. Horchata is a drink. It's made from rice water, regular water, cinnamon, and a little sugar. It's a nice drink, beautiful drink. But it's spelled H-O-R, like horchata, but it's not, the H is silent, so it's horchata. And there's a lot of rules that are weird like that. I guess it's like anything else, once you learn them and you know them. But they speak Spanish so fast, for like, I can't understand what they're saying. They could say all the words that I know, but they're just put together in a long form that I don't know. Like, for example, puedo tomar tu foto. That means, can I take your picture? Can I take your picture? So, puedo tomar, and tu, and photo. And photo is spelled with F-O-T-O, photo. So, puedo tomar tu foto. But they say it so fast, it's like all strung together. I can't even say it that fast. And then again, yeah, when they even speak it slowly, that even takes me a little time. And when like I said, that when you buy something and you can't see the screen of the money, and they say 54 pesos. Well, I don't know what 50 is. What I know, cuatro is 4. So it all depends on the money. Once it gets into 134, well, it's not like, see, 100 is a word, 30 is a word, and then cuatro, 4. So I know the end number, but how much was it before that? And only picked up a couple of words because they speak Spanish so fast. Yeah, and you see, that's my problem here too, is I don't want to learn the language as words. Like mana is tomorrow, manzana is apple. I don't want to learn this word is that word, and I would like to know a whole sentence, because then once you learn a whole sentence, like asking for something, like, what does that cost? Well, once you know how to say, what does that cost, you can know, what does something else, what does this, what does that? Because you know the first part of the sentence is always going to be the same, or where is, or the who, what, where, when, and why part is always going to be the same. Now, my driver that picks me up and takes me to the clinic back and forth, he was saying that he knows 7 languages, not fluently, but he knows 7 languages. But he was saying that English is the only language that is backwards. All other languages are spoken forward. And I said, what do you mean by forward or backwards? And yes, I'm from mostly like a German type family. All of my, the German was always, to me, it seemed backwards. Same as Spanish in some ways, in some sentences. When you say, I would like a fish sandwich, you say, in English, you say a fish sandwich. Hang on, I got to get the door. I'm just on the. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I've been on for an hour on the office. So, yeah, come out way before. Because you can have a look here, it needs to, no water comes out of the tap at all. Nothing, that's just good. I don't know, I didn't touch anything, didn't do anything, I turned the dog through my teeth that night, no water comes out at all. And then I shaved one day, filled up the sink, so I could, and then once I released the cork from the thing, all the water came out on the floor. But, yeah, I have to do that. So I have to find out what the eggs for, like that. Yeah, okay, come down anytime. Okay, sorry guys, my landlord. Hot water versus agua. Is this Spanish? Agua cal. See, how do you pronounce IE? Calinete? Agua calinete. I have an app on my phone where I could type that in and then it would speak it for me, so I could kind of know how to. So anyway, I have problems with the bathroom here. He put in a new sink for me, and he's not a plumber. Okay, Calina is hot, eh? So let me just see here on this app that I got. If I go in here and say, oh yeah, it's got a ding. And I type the word hot in, and then I say translate to Spanish. And you're right. It's now let's see what that says.
Caliente.
Caliente. Caliente is hot. So agua hot, agua caliente. Yeah, if you say you want a fish sandwich, in English that sounds proper. You're talking about what you want on the sandwich, fish sandwich. In Spanish and in most other languages, it's sandwich fish. It's what you want with what you want on it. I want a sandwich fish. And to me, that sounds so backwards. Or there was another one, like I would like a tomato salad. You can't say that in Spanish that way. In English, I would like a tomato salad. Sounds perfect. In Spanish, I would like a salad tomato. You don't say I would like a salad with tomato. It's I would like salad tomato. So it's kind of, to me, it's backwards. And how most sentences are, I would say, forward, but then there's part of it that's backwards. So how do I know when it's forward and when it's backward? That's the part. How do you know when to say it backwards and forwards, which is real weird. Anyways, my bathroom, he buys a new sink and takes the old one out, but the plumbing needs to be adjusted or changed. Well, he's not a plumber, and he just sort of, he thinks he knows how to do it, and it's so crude, it just doesn't work. He tightened it all up. It's a long story, but the water doesn't come out of the tap. It's not working. And when you drain the water down the drain, it doesn't go down the drain. It goes all over the floor. And he should just have paid he should have paid someone that knows what they're doing to do this. And because I'm an electrician and I work fixed houses and things, I mean, I know how to do plumbing. I wouldn't have done the kind of work that he done here. Very crude, and he's got no tools. As a matter of fact, when he was going to put caulking around certain places in there, you buy the caulking tube, but he's got no caulking gun to put it in so he just pushes with his finger in the back there and pushes it through so that the caulking comes out. Caliente.
Caliente.
Caliente. Caliente. Cali. See, there you go. You say the the A is always A. I is always E. Caliente. Caliente. Agua caliente. You're an electrician also. Oh, cool. I could wire anything. I used to work at several camp jobs. I'll send him a message and say, hey, anytime. Okay, Benny, anytime you want to come down, have a look at that, I'm ready. So I've been on for an hour and a half here already. So when he comes down, or whenever, we'll have to end the. So you're an electrician also. Cool. We have something in common. And you see, he's not really a dentist. He just runs the clinic. He knows a lot about dentistry, but he gets messages sent like all the time. So he never really reads them. And with everybody in Mexico uses WhatsApp, the app called WhatsApp. And when a message is sent to someone, there's a little check mark to show that you've sent it. Then there's a double check mark when they have received it. It's onto their phone. They haven't read it. It's just on their phone. And when the double check mark turns blue, then they've read it. So you can tell when someone has got a message and when they've read their messages. So he's got his message, which means his phone is on. It made it to his phone, but he hasn't read it. Now I could call him, then the phone would probably ring and he'd say, oh, okay. So you're an electrician for 35 years. AJ, Happy New Year, my friend. Thanks for popping in. This is cool, AJ. The topic earlier was, have you had any good or bad experiences for 22? And looking forward to 23? Most people that were on here, that were here, come and gone, maybe. We're talking about 22 was not a good year, and 23, their hopes are that it's going to be better. We can only hope that it's going to be better. We don't know what it's really going to be like. But so far, we have had 13 and a half hours of 2023, and so far, those 13 hours have been all right. So 2022, for me, nothing seriously bad or good has happened. I don't even remember certain things. It's just a haze. So trying to get something done. I've learned a lot of Mexican culture and how they work. Now, this is not all, but the ones that I have come across, we always call that siesta. It's not that they're having a siesta all the time, but they don't work very fast. To do the stairs that what Benny put in here for his place to get upstairs took a long time for them to do that. And he kept having to phone them and say, hey, like, let's get these stairs done. And kept pushing and pushing. They're still not completely done. Social Security started paying me and got an e-bike in 2022. That was awesome. Oh, you got an e-bike. I would love to have one of them, especially the kind that has, there's, from what my understanding is, there's two kinds of e-bikes. Well, there's probably lots of kinds, but the way they function, there are some that pedal assist, which means you have to keep pedaling in order to assist. Well, you could probably stop pedaling for a little bit, and then there's the other one with just a throttle that you don't have to pedal. You can just use use up the battery or whatever have you. That's the kind I would like anyway. I mean, they're probably not cheap either. Well, see, that's another thing there, Ronnie. Benny, his name is, he owns this house that I'm living in. And it's a single dwelling house, which means down on the main floor where I'm at is not really a full suite. There is no bedrooms here. They're just, when you saw my last video about where I live, I walked from the front gate all the way through showing you what the house is like. My bed here is right behind me. There's no real bedroom. There's just this area, living kind of area. And then there's beyond this thing that's right there, that tall thing, that's a cupboard. Behind that is like my living room area, and the big screen TV is on the wall, or it's like a 50-inch TV screen, which doesn't have. I don't have TV. I have Netflix and Amazon and things like that. So there's no real television. So everything I'm watching is English. I can watch YouTube. Then you go beyond that and you're in the kitchen. Now they're right beside me here, what used to be stairs to go upstairs to the bedrooms. There was bedrooms upstairs. Well, what he did was, before he ever thought of me coming here, he wanted to divide this into two suites, have a bottom suite and an upstairs suite, and rent them both out. So he wants something like 900 pesos. Dollars we're talking about. $800 or $900 for rent. And I thought, well, gee, that's way less than in Canada, but for what you get here, that's kind of like overpriced, though, if you're asking me. I have both on mine. I still pedal. I call it fake pedaling because it requires no effort. Yeah, you're just what are you doing when you're pedaling? Are you just keeping the battery full of power, or like do you have to pedal? What happens if you just charge up the battery full charge and then you get on it and away you go? Can you drive around till the battery goes down without pedaling at all? And then if you're out somewhere, then you can pedal. You're not really without power. You should be able to plug some kind of stick into it and watch YouTube on your big screen TV. Yeah, it has a menu, and I can click it on Netflix. I can click it to Amazon Prime, or I can click YouTube, or there's several other ones. There's more than that. There's a menu all the way across the bottom of what I can pick to watch. I should watch more YouTube on the big screen. No, it has the throttle. I just like moving my legs. Oh yeah, to get some exercise. But that's what I would like, so that you don't really have to pedal if you for some reason, if you don't want to. I watch a few that I follow that have e-bikes, and their camera is either on the bars on the front or on their head or whatever, but you can always see the motion of that. You can tell they're pedaling. It's not just a solid, so you can tell that they're always pedaling. This one guy puts a camera on the front and the back. I don't know if it's on his head. You can see his hands, So maybe it's on his chest or so. Yeah, you can see his hands and the front bar, the handlebar. On the back, you don't see anything. You don't even see the tire. So it must be on a fender or something on the back or on the back seat somewhere. I don't think you even see the back wheel. It's just it's nice when you can have two views, because he'll put on the YouTube, he'll show the front and then he'll show the back. But I wouldn't mind one of those. It's just that they're costly. But anyways, yeah, the e-bike would be fantastic, especially living in a vehicle, in a van like I do. So instead of driving everywhere, if you just wanted to park and move around, well, a pedal bike would work, but an e-bike would be even better. As long as nobody steals it. Hang on, let me just see if I can call that. No, call him and say. I know his phone's on. See, he's not answering though. Can you turn your ringer off? I don't know. No answer. 2,000 for the one I got, but there are good ones in the $700 range. Really, in the $700 range? So you must have for $2,000. It must be a really good one. There are those. I seen one here the other day. It's like it almost looks like one of those scooters with the long stem that comes up on a handle. And hey, Tommy, how you doing? Happy New Year, my friend. Where the long handle comes up, and they're electric, but this one has another long pole on the back with a seat. So and it goes pretty fast. She drove right past me, no problem, down the road. It's like one of those two-wheeled scooters, but it has a seat on it, and would go like crazy. So the seat is just like on a long pole with a bicycle seat or something, and then in the front a long pole with the handlebars, and that thing would go like wow. She Devil Tommy is in the house. We were talking about memorable, good or bad things that happened for 22. And was your 22 good? Was it bad? Was it in between? Higher wattage motor, more payload capacity and range. The scooter things are cool too. Now, I mean, I imagine if you're going to get an e-bike, I would think that you should spend the money and get something better, because you don't want to kick yourself later for saying, I should have bought the better one because I'm not getting the range I want out of it, or I can't do what I want with it. Or do you just say to yourself, well, I don't need to have the good one. I can, as long as I can just get from here A to B and back again. I know hills and things, it matters on hills and the distance you're going. 22 is a blur. That was a blur for me. I don't know of anything good that happened or anything bad. Same as me there, Tommy. 56 miles. 56 miles, that's pretty good. I mean, I know you probably couldn't go up steep hills to a certain point, or then you'd have to pedal. But one nice thing about it is the weight. If it's too steep or too this or too that, you can always get off and walk it. It's not like a motorcycle where if you run out of fuel or something, that's it. And it's harder to push that along. If the Earth is spinning faster than we ever last year should have been. Oh, okay. I hear him coming from the stairs up top. So he's coming down. And I've been on for an hour and 40 minutes, guys. So, okay, guys, I'll answer the door. Hang on. Yeah. Did you want to pop in for a minute? Just to have a look and see what's going on. Hang on. All right, guys, I'm going to shut her down for the day. And it's good. I haven't seen all you guys since last year. So great. All right. Take care, my friends, and we'll catch you all on the next one, on next Sunday. So just remember, guys, that if nobody has told you they loved you today, let me be the first. I love each and every one of you, and we'll catch you guys all on next Sunday's sermon. Thanks for coming out, guys. Thanks for the great discussion on the new year. Catch you guys later.